serious. Let's put a smile on that face. Hopefully that Heath Ledger Joker poster isn't a distraction for you. Hey guys, I am back making more videos. What, you thought I wouldn't make more for the new year? Heck no. I'm gonna continue to make more videos throughout the whole year. And in case if you want to know why I haven't been posting any new videos lately besides a few shorts, I've been taking a few days off from making videos just to relax and register with the new year and to test out some stuff with my new camera. I'm still doing some things with it. I'm still figuring out some of the issues that it has. It's actually a very nice camera. It's a 4K digital camera, so at one point throughout this year, if any of my newer videos look a little different, it's really because I am going to be filming my videos with this camera in the future. Speaking of changes, this isn't exactly a different background. It's still the same one I used in my previous videos. I just moved my desk and my webcam to a different spot just to make more room. Now back to this video. So if you guys don't know, 2023 was a pretty disappointing year for movies, but I'm hoping that this year is at least better when it comes to movies. And hopefully this year won't have as many disappointments as last year, because last year had a lot. I'm also going to try and make this video a little shorter because I know that my last anticipated / skeptical movies video from last year was 20 minutes long, so I'm going to try to make sure that this video doesn't end up being as long as that video, so I won't end up taking too much of your time. Also, no January films on this list because not only are we halfway done with January, but January is also the bad month of movies, where a lot of them end up becoming complete crap. So instead, I'm going to be starting in February with a little movie called Argyle, which is right around the corner, actually. It's directed by Matthew Vaughn, who did Kingsman and Kick-Ass, both great movies, and this is supposed to be a spy comedy, and whenever Matthew Vaughn makes a new original film, I'm excited for it. Now we're moving on to March with a movie that was supposed to come out last year but got delayed for certain reasons, and that film is Dune Part 2, the sequel to the first Dune film, which brought back the same cast and crew from that film. And I'm not going to go into too much about Dune Part 2 because if you've seen my anticipated / skeptical movies of 2023 video, then you already know everything I'm hoping for with this film. The Roadhouse remake, starring Jake Gyllenhaal and is directed by Doug Liman, who did The Bourne Identity and Edge of Tomorrow. It has potential to be a really good action film. I do think Doug Liman is a talented director, and I love Jake Gyllenhaal as an actor, so we'll have to see how this film goes. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, a sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife, which I didn't love when that movie came out, but I enjoyed it for what it was, even though I still think the original Ghostbusters film is the best one. I'm still looking forward to this because it has some of the cast and some of the crew members from Afterlife back, and it takes place in New York like the original did, and it's going with a different ghost and not another ghost that they've already used in the past. Mickey 17, directed by Bong Joon-ho, who directed movies like Parasite and Snowpiercer. Please watch those films if you haven't yet. I really don't know much about this film. All I know is that it's from the director of Parasite, and it stars actors like Robert Pattinson, Toni Collette, and Mark Ruffalo. The Fall Guy is a new action comedy starring Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt, and Aaron Taylor-Johnson, and it's directed by David Leitch, who did Bullet Train. The trailer made it look like it was going to be a very fun comedy. I'm looking forward to watching the film. I'm excited to see Ryan Gosling do more comedy, and I'm hoping it's just as fun, if not better, than Bullet Train, which I did really enjoy. If John Krasinski's departure on horror and thriller movies like the Quiet Place films is now directing a family-friendly comedy, which has a bunch of imaginary friends, or IFs for short, and I know the premise does sound a little bit like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, But since this is directed by John Krasinski, I am looking forward to seeing how he'll do this film. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the continuation of the newer Planet of the Apes films with Andy Serkis as Caesar, except this time around it's going in a different direction. I am a fan of the newer Planet of the Apes films. Rise, Dawn, and War are three of the best films in the franchise, and when I found out that they were continuing this franchise kind of with a new cast and a new director, that did get me a little skeptical, but I am gonna give it a chance. The trailer did show that there's gonna be a lot of great visual effects and motion capture on the apes, and that's why I'm hoping that we're gonna get a lot of in this film. Furiosa, once again directed by George Miller, is both a prequel and spin-off to Mad Max Fury Road, starring Anya Taylor-Joy as Furiosa, who was previously played by Charlize Theron. I loved Fury Road when that movie came out, and I thought Furiosa was a great character in that film, and I'm looking forward to seeing Anya Taylor-Joy as the character, and since they have George Miller back directing it, I think this movie is gonna be awesome. Ballerina. Why am I looking forward to this random ballerina movie? Because this is a John Wick spin-off starring Ana de Armas. I love the John Wick films, and I do think Ana de Armas is a very talented actress, so maybe this movie could be a lot of fun. Inside Out 2, a sequel to the original film that this time around deals with puberty, which could lead to some funny moments and some relatable moments. I love the first Inside Out film. For me, that is top tier Pixar. It's definitely up there with the original Toy Story films and The Incredibles for me. And the first Inside Out film was admittedly one of those Pixar films that made me cry. It really did give me those emotional moments, which I'm hoping that this film also has. A Quiet Place Day One is not directed by John Krasinski. This time around, it is directed by Michael Samosky, who directed the Nicolas Cage film Pig. This is also a prequel to the original two films, which is supposed to explain more the origin story about the aliens coming to Earth, and it also has a new cast, so I'm looking forward to that. Okay, here we go. Deadpool 3. Out of all of the films I have listed so far, and the ones I'm going to mention later, this is the one I am really nervous about because I love the first Deadpool film, and I did like the second film, and this is the first film to take place in the MCU, and I'm looking forward to seeing this film, but I'm also concerned about it because the MCU hasn't been the greatest in recent years, with their films and shows just being either mediocre or just really bad, and since superhero fatigue is becoming a huge thing now, that's also becoming a big problem for the MCU. But regardless of those fears, I am still excited to see that film, mostly because they have Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine, and it's not gonna ruin some of the stuff from Logan. They are gonna leave that alone, and they're saying that this takes place before Logan, and I'm hoping that this film is good. Please be good, don't let me down. Alien Romulus, a new Alien film that I am very excited for, but it's sadly not being directed by Ridley Scott like the last film was. This time around, it's going to be directed by Fede Alvarez, who did the Evil Dead remake and Don't Breathe, and it's going to be a new story and an entirely new cast. Trap, M. Night Shyamalan's next film. I don't know much about this film either. All I know is that this is going to be a thriller that takes place during a rock concert, and I do want this film to be fun because I am a fan of Shyamalan as a director. I do think he has gotten better at directing in recent years. I mean, I enjoyed Knock at the Cabin and I loved Split, so let's hope that this movie is as good as those films. Beetlejuice 2, a sequel to the original film that brings back Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice and some of the cast members from the first film, and having Jenna Ortega as one of the new characters of this film. I remember when they first announced the Beetlejuice 2 like around 10 years ago, I think. It was around the time Birdman was coming out, and there were talks about a Beetlejuice 2 happening around that time, I believe. And now you have Tim Burton back directing it. We can finally feast our eyes on a Beetlejuice 2, but is it gonna be any good? We'll have to see. Joker Folie à Deux, a sequel to the first Joker film with Joaquin Phoenix back as the character, and they also have Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, and the only thing that concerns me about it is that it's confirmed to be a musical, which does get me a little concerned, but I really like the first Joker film from 2019, and you also have Todd Phillips back directing it, and I am hoping that this film is really good. And I'm looking forward to seeing Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. I mean, I loved Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, but I am gonna give Lady Gaga's version a chance. The Wolfman remake. Yep, we got another Wolfman remake coming out, and to be honest, I wouldn't put this film on this list if Leigh Whannell wasn't directing it. In case you don't know who that is, Leigh Whannell is known for writing horror films like Saw and Insidious, and directing movies like Upgrade and The Invisible Man. Gladiator 2. Did we need a sequel to Gladiator? No, but it does have some potential. It's got a talented cast, and Ridley Scott's back to direct it, so it does have potential to be a good movie, so we'll see what happens. Another film I'm anticipated but skeptical about, an anime Lord of the Rings film, this one being called The War of Rohirrim. I'm sorry if I got that name wrong. I am thinking that maybe that this movie could be good because I do love the original Lord of the Rings films, and I think the Hobbit films are okay. And I am interested in seeing a new Lord of the Rings story, and having this be anime, that one also gets me very curious. Nosferatu is directed by Robert Eggers and stars Bill Skarsgård, Nicholas Hoult, and Willem Dafoe. Robert Eggers is a very talented director when it comes to horror, with movies like The Witch, The Lighthouse, and The Northman, and I think this movie does have potential to be one of the better live-action remakes of a horror classic. Now for some films that don't have a release date but are still being released in theaters this year, hopefully. An untitled Jordan Peele movie. Whenever Jordan Peele is making a new horror or thriller, I'm always gonna be excited for that. Saving Bikini Bottom, a Sandy Cheeks movie. I loved SpongeBob as a kid, and maybe this film could be a lot of fun for both fans of SpongeBob, and hopefully it's just a fun and enjoyable watch. Wallace and Gromit 2, or whatever they're gonna call it. I love the original shorts, and I love the movie from 2005, and I want to see these two characters in a new film again. Havoc, a new action film directed by Gareth Evans, who made The Raid 1 and 2, two of some of the best action films from the 2010 decade. And finally, for the anticipated Shelby Oaks, directed by Chris Stuckman, who is one of my favorite film critics on YouTube right now. I've been a fan of Chris Stuckman's for a long time. He's one of the reasons I have a channel on YouTube right now, so seeing him make his first feature film does get me excited. Those are the films I am currently excited for, skeptical about. It's possible that some of these films could be pushed back to next year, but I'm still keeping them on this list because it's possible that some of them could either stay in 2024 or get pushed back to 2025. And if some of them do get pushed back, I mean, that kind of stuff happens when you're making a list like this. And I know it's possible that some of these films could end up being disappointing, but that kind of stuff happens. And I'm also expecting some surprises to happen because, for one, I wasn't expecting Godzilla Minus One to get this much praise. Granted, I haven't seen the movie yet, but when that movie was coming out, people were talking about it like crazy when it came out. So guys, what are the films that you are both excited for, skeptical about, and not interested in seeing? Let me know what those films are in the comments below. And as always, if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing because it helps my channel grow. Hit the notification bell so you know what other videos I am posting. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.